'Cause I saw Tiger, now I understand. I saw Tiger, Tiger saw.
Tiger King, Murder, Madness and Mayhem is a true crime documentary which is a miniseries on Netflix that is going viral right now. Everybody is talking about this documentary. It is the life of Joseph Allen Maldonado Passage, also popularly known as Joe Exotic. I call him Joey because he's Joey. No, he's not Joey. It focuses on the deep interconnected society of the big cat collectors in America and how they're all linked to Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic was accused and pretty much guilty charge of hiring a murder attack on a certain someone who was linked into that big cat collector society, which you will get to when you watch the whole documentary, and it will just surprise you in many ways, which is exactly what this documentary did, because wow, this was ridiculous. It's unbelievably insane. But this documentary it's really about Joe Exotic, about his life, about how he is. He is a larger than life person. His personality is just out of here completely. The way he sees things is just ridiculous. He is a man who actually ran for president of the United States. He even ran for governor of Oklahoma. Oh, and he also may have tried to kill someone by hiring somebody else to kill them. So yeah, there's that too. In the midst of the virus pandemic that is going on right now, we obviously are pretty much focused on Netflix. This is all that people can talk about from now. Pretty much anything new in entertainment is just very much needed at this point. This show is receiving all the attention with all these memes and jokes across social media. That's how I came across this show, and I binge watched all of it. It mixes the cults, the murder, the politics, the fame in such an insanely cruel way. I don't watch a lot of the documentary at all. I really don't. I wish I did, but I just don't. It's not really for me. I want to watch more, I wish I could, but I never really get around to it. But this documentary makes me want to watch more 100%, because the way I was binge watching this show, I couldn't keep my eyes off it, not for one bit. And I just, every single episode as well, the end of it, you just learn a new massive jaw-dropping thing. Makes you want to watch the next episode. The cliffhanger, the way they do it is just great. And I really was fascinated watching this documentary. It's ridiculous that this is a true story. You have a 7-episode documentary in which at the end of each episode it just gets crazier and more unbelievable. We are introduced to a new story or character, in this case a real person, and how they're linked to Joe's life. What that brings to the outcome. And I'm not going to spoil much for you guys. I'm going to try my best with that. But this documentary is so terribly compelling that it makes Joe Exotic become the same as well. He is a country singer. If you go on YouTube right now and you go to his songs, it's viral. They've reached millions of views. Why? Because of this documentary. It does glorify him, as you could probably tell from the start of this video. The man's personality is just larger than life. We're introduced to him in the first few episodes, more or less fully formed, and he's a man who has built his empire from nothing. And so you see that, and you see the way he treats animals, which I will get to as well. For me personally, there were a few times where I was thinking, this guy's not so bad. Then a few minutes later, you're thinking, oh, wow. Another thing is the amount of hypocrisy in this documentary. It's just beyond me completely. The theme of it is animal abuse, animal rights, how animals are treated, and they're treated pretty badly. It's safe to say that. And there is a rivalry between Joe and a certain someone who I won't mention. That's the driving force of the narrative of this documentary. Them two, the way they rival with each other, and how far Joe is willing to go to prove his point. Joe Exotic arguably does not treat animals well at all. He is awful, he keeps them in cages, but his rival as well is pretty much her point of view. Her argument is that, look, this man cannot have all these animals, that he's treating them incredibly badly, but but she tends to do the same thing as well. She's keeping them in cages too, as we can see in the documentary. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, and they do that purposely, and they do that really well to challenge the audience, to get that into our minds, and to see the bigger picture. And I really, really liked that, because I picked it out quite earlier, and to have that in your mind, that whole point of view, that state of mind, as you further watch the episodes, things just got more spicier. Something that doesn't really help is the main intention of this documentary is supposed to be something else entirely. That the message is something else, but because of these memes, these jokes across entire social media, that's getting the attention. That is getting the main buzz for this show, but not the main message, which is animal abuse. There's one character in this documentary. He is an exotic animal owner shown packing cubs into a small suitcase. I, for one, would definitely argue if this suitcase was filled with dogs and cats, people would be having an uproar. The amount of controversy that would be surrounding ourselves would be incredible. But in this case, no. Nope, not at all. That's something that I really picked out. And me personally, I am not a huge animal person. I'm not that sort of person who will be backlashing all this and whatever. I'm not so passionate about it. That is safe to say about me. I'm just honest. That's just me. But this documentary makes you think like that quite a bit. And I thought about that quite a lot. But bringing it to my flaw, I think that there should have been a more impactful way in sending the message of animal abuse towards the ending of this series. They hit somewhere, but it didn't stick the landing. And you can clearly tell that with, obviously, the internet, like I mentioned before. But this is a bizarre true crime story, and you need to see it to believe it, really. I think that it's messy, but it's very captivating at the same time as well. It's messy on purpose. The portrayal of obsession is very interesting, and how that can all go wrong, and I really like that. I'm going to give the Tiger King documentary an A-. Thank you so much for watching. I never really talk about this stuff, but because of how popular this has become, I had to say something. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon.